anything on Andy in Summer's case? Thank you for asking, Margaret. Have you been doing your own deep dives? You should really check out Dee's true crime commentary. If Dee is watching this or watching the replay, hello Dee. I've been following Dee for years, and I feel like she's truly on the ball now with Andy Bernard, his family, his connections, and there's some big names being brought up, and we know since the very beginning with Summer's case that there are higher up people. And I used to wonder, well, I mean, how would there be a Freemason connection with Summer if Dawn wasn't a Freemason, you know, because I figured, well, this deal was Candace and Dawn. No, because Andy is the middleman. He's heavily involved. I'm going to get some true crime things. Let's get the sus on Andy. I'm going to get the tea on Andy Bernard because to me, he is the most suspicious neighbor. And I know a lot of people diss and dump on Fred Hill, but I never got a bad vibe off Fred. He just seemed like, you know, sweet, but a bit simple. And I do hope that him and Ziggy have a nice life together because I really don't think they're bad people. I think they're trying to help, but in a sense it backfires. Female caregiver. Okay. So Andy's mother is coming up straight away. Andy's mother, she's a real estate realtor, apparently. So look at her real estate. Whoa, male. Andy's father, Andy's son, like father, like son, grandfather, son, and grandson. So this is a whole family business. They could all be in the trafficking and not just drugs. You know what I mean? Okay, Andy Bernard. What do we need to know about Andy Bernard in the case of Summer Moon Utah Wells? We've got a tunnel, underground tunnel. He's got connections. Yeah, there could actually be tunnels where they transport kids underground. The underbelly is what I'm hearing. So the word underbelly. Yeah. Serial killer. Wow. Wow. So Andy Bernard. Whoa. And that happened to Summer on her own. We also have spouse partner. So Jody Sue Brown knows more about these trafficking things. And I feel like Andy could know about more than just what happened to Summer, because if this is sacrifice, you have to keep on feeding the beast, and he could actually be involved in other cases. And what I've been trying to do along with Kylie, if any of you follow Kylie's Spirit Box sessions, her name is Kylie's Nail Candy on YouTube, if you want to check it out. She does a lot of spirit sessions, and she's been saying for at least over a year that Summer and Sebastian's cases are connected because there is at least one character or two characters who have some sort of a connection, an underground connection. So the Freemason is Andy and his connections, not Don, because they wouldn't let someone like Don in the Freemasons. He would just absolutely embarrass all of them with his behavior. He's too obvious. Andy is more sneaky, and his father could be a member or, you know, a grand mason. So maybe Andy's father is one of the guys that Donna and Sloan Bell seen in their readings. Both of them said there's, you know, 3 men specifically. But Dee has also picked up that it could be Andy and his connections. And they've got connections to baseball players. We've got jealousy. Yeah. So Andy Bernard is a cheater, and he knows about more than just Summer's case, because when it comes to trafficking children, he knows that not all of these children are still alive. He's still complicit. Chris name. The Chris name keeps coming up. Yeah. And I mean, I've been thinking, is it Chris Proudfoot? So I think Chris Proudfoot and Andy Bernard know each other. Let's see. Let me ask the tarot if Andy and Chris know each other, because if we can confirm that's the connection, then we can dive deeper into that connection. Of course, it's not going to be easy to find, but if we dig deep enough, we will find the connections, because they're both in the Freemasons. They could be in the same brotherhood. They're in the same state. And Andy mentioned a trash truck, and a trash truck has been brought up with Sebastian Rogers' case. And I know a lot of people don't believe it was a trash truck. It was a light thing. Hello, Kylie. I was just shouting out your channel, so I must have summoned you, girl. Hello. You came at just the right time because Margaret has just asked about the tea on Andy Bernard. And what we're going to do is ask if Andy and Chris are, I was going to say related. Everyone's related in that area. But if they know each other, we've got the moon. This is lies, deception, and illusions. Okay. I think so. LOL. So let's see. The tea on Marsha and Marcel's case. Okay, we'll get to them when we are finished with this connection between Summer's case and Sebastian. So let's specifically ask about Andy Bernard and Christopher Proudfoot. Do they know each other? Are they both in the same Mason Lodge? And yeah, I do feel like there's something about a vehicle that connects them. Yeah. And I do feel like Chris Proudfoot could know more information about Summer Wells's case. Same way as Sebastian's case. Yeah. 2 of Cups. Yeah. They both share cups at the same lodge. So yeah, I think it could be the Freemasons that connects these 2 parties. 2 of Cups. You know, interestingly enough, the 2 of Cups is the lover card. So Chris's lover, Katie, is involved with Sebastian's case. And Andy's lover, or ex-lover, Jodie Sue, is involved. Queen of Swords, yeah. Because these women aren't afraid to tell it like it is. I know Katie comes off as meek, but behind the scenes, she can be just as vindictive as Chris. Yeah, because it takes one to know one, and they're one and the same. They're nasty people. So is Jodie Sue and Andy. Do Chris Proudfoot and Andy Bernard know each other? Please and thank you. Do we have all these cards that want to come? The Knight of Cups. Yeah, a love offer. This can be, or an offer. Trafficking. The Lovers in reverse. Wrong choice. Yeah. Avoidance of choice or overcommitment. Yeah. 7 of Swords. Because you know why? They're both liars and thieves. Sneaky. And they do have a connection. They know each other. Yeah, the Ace of Wands in reverse. This is a false start. Yeah, delays, misunderstanding, cancellation. So I'm thinking of the Andy it's done text. There could have been delays with the vehicles, the transport. And I do feel like they both have involvement with trafficking and the Freemasons, and it goes back to Summer and Sebastian's case. So even if the 2 cases aren't connected in that sense, there is 2 characters, one from each case that are connected, that connects the 2. And Summer and Sebastian's energy, they kind of act as a support for each other. They help each other be brave enough to speak the truth about the abuse they endured, not only physically, but both of them were being sexually abused, in my opinion. And this was by men in their lives that were supposed to protect them, okay? So is Sebastian and his truth going to be known soon? And will those responsible face justice? Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm missing a bit of the chat. Let me just give myself a moment. We're going to definitely look more into the Chris and the Andy connection. That is for sure. Okay, so where were we? Let me just catch up real quick on the chat. The Chris name. Yeah, because Chris just keeps on coming up in the spirit box. And I know people probably think I'm picking on Chris Proudfoot because I don't like him. But listen, spirit keeps implicating him more and more. Okay, so let's see. See. I will get the tea then on that case for you. I think so. Yeah, I think he's in a... I nearly read that as he's in a dress. Can you ask if Robin Lane is related to Bullhorn Betty? Great question. Oh, okay. I'm mixing up everyone here. Okay. He comes out all the time for me also. Who does Chris Proudfoot when you're reading on Summer's case? Yeah, it's like me and Kylie have some sort of a connection to Chris Proudfoot and his energy because we can read him like a book. He must think we're super fans, Kylie. I'm sure that's why he tells himself, oh, you know what? My haters are just lovers in disguise, because he just thinks he is the best thing since sliced bread. He's a legend in his own mind, but only his mind. Chris Little P. If any of you remember the T on Chris Proudfoot, we have a whole video dedicated to that, and literally the micro penis card came out. So there's that, allegedly. I don't know, I haven't seen it. Let's ask Katie. But is that why he's so bossy? Because not only does he have short man syndrome, he he overcompensates in a lot of departments, and he's furious about it. I feel he is. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see if we will get justice and closure on Sebastian Rogers' case. And let us see. I really hope we do, because weirdly enough, Sebastian's case is one that I started following later. He's not as missing for as long as Summer has been, but something about Sebastian just, it kills me inside. And I wish I could have taken Sebastian. If they didn't want him, I would have taken him. His little soul, his little voice. I cry every time I hear his voice. And, you know, I've heard little clips of Summer's voice, but it seems like they didn't want to give Summer a voice in the first place because she was abused since birth, allegedly, in my opinion. And that's why they didn't teach her to talk. Okay, so let's see. Sebastian Rogers. Will Sebastian Rogers get his justice, and will those responsible be held accountable? Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like this could be Katie's energy or Kathy Bowersock's energy. Let's see. Will those be held accountable? We have the Nine of Wands in reverse. Frustrated, defensive, anxious. And we've got the delay again. So there was some sort of a delay, maybe with some sort of vehicle or truck. Because even if the lights video was a trash truck, like all these Proudfoot supporters are trying to say, maybe this trash truck is exactly what implicates Chris Proudfoot, not only in what happened to Sebastian, but in what happened to Summer as well, because Andy B drove a trash truck. So kind and truthful. Yeah, I do feel like the truth will come out, but I feel like there is still a lot of people trying to protect the truth, and this is assertiveness, resentment, but they're uncertain behind the scenes because they know they did wrong, and Chris wouldn't be so defensive unless he had something to be defensive about. The Six of Pentacles in reverse, pride of riches. Yeah, unfairness, injustice, power dynamics. So I feel like they have protection from law enforcement, and I feel like right now he is still being protected. They're not feeding the public the truth. They're just throwing crumbs to the public. Let them eat cake kind of a thing. Yeah, but this is the Hermit. This is wisdom sought. So I do feel like the truth will come out regarding Sebastian. But it might take a woman breaking a woman's heart, because these men are hardened. It feels like they don't have any hearts. Let me double check with this tarot deck, and then we will see. We will ask about the cases that Margaret has mentioned, because I do have them written down. I will do full readings on them, but we can just dip into the energy a little bit first. Let me just see about Sebastian's justice. Let me move these to the side. Will Sebastian Rogers get his justice, please and thank you? And who will bring that justice? Yeah, renewal. This is a judgment call from the angels. So God was watching these predators, and the truth will be revealed. Yeah, there will be a rebirth when it comes to this case. The Five of Wands in reverse. Someone's guards are coming down. Conflict is being overcome. But right now there's a protective wall. The Proudfoots are protected by law enforcement, by the Freemasons, by the Bowersox family, the Proudfoots, whatever. The Nine of Wands in reverse. Yeah, but look, protective in reverse. I do feel like in the future these protective measures will come down and the truth will be revealed. So it's coming, but right now they're still being protected because it's not only Chris that would be implicated, and there's also numerous cases that could be connected to this underground trafficking ring that involves the Freemasons. Yeah, but there's something that they didn't organize, and I always get that their sloppiness or their ego is going to be their downfall in terms of Sebastian and his case. They were overconfident and they didn't realize that they slipped up, and this could cost them their freedom, and so it should, because the day I see cuffs on Chris on Chris Proudfoot is a day that I will remember, and he is not a friend of mine, probably not a fan of mine if you've seen my videos, but hey, I am onto him, and so is Kylie. So let me see what Kylie's been saying. Oh yeah, we're going to ask about Bullhorn, Betty and Robin. Ooh, that is tea. And inadequate in ways, in plenty of ways. And maybe that's why poor Katie looks so miserable, because she's like, oh, everything that I've sacrificed for this, is this it? But, you know, she had many years to leave his ass, and now it's like they're tied together by the devil. I think it's a fake trash truck. Also, the real truck's mechanical arm. Yeah.